It is not always easy to tell if a driver is hasty. However, there are a few indicators. We're going to examine 3 of them in this video as applicable to a driver exiting from a side road. The animation will highlight the first of these 3 indicators. Notice that the driver of the red vehicle didn't slow down at all. So just continued at a certain pace in order to cross over the road. And so that's the first of the indicators, where a vehicle exiting from a side road doesn't slow down at all. Let's have a look at a real-life clip to demonstrate this. Then notice the vehicle exiting from the side road, although he wasn't traveling at speed, nonetheless didn't slow down and just continued directly into the path of this vehicle. Now, when one thinks about the consequences of that action, in order to perhaps save a few seconds, has now landed up in a situation where it's going to cost him a lot more time in order to try and sort out this problem that he's initiated or incurred, having to go through the whole insurance process, have his vehicle repaired and everything that goes along with that. And so instead of saving time, has now cost him a lot more time in the long run. So if you're in a situation where you are hasty, and there may be a very valid reason for being hasty, nonetheless, it's not a reason to throw caution out the window, because that could actually cost us not only time, but even put our lives and those of others in danger. So always be cautious, even if you are hasty. Second clip demonstrating once again a vehicle exiting from the side road, not slowing down, just continuing at a pace into the path of the main traffic. Here too, the driver, instead of now saving a few seconds, has actually cost himself a lot more time in the long run. And this driver, even if he was hasty, could have taken this lead section, a bit of a tighter turn into this lead section, and then merged into the main traffic a lot easier by speeding up along this lead section. The second indicator that we're looking at is a bit more difficult to detect because of its unpredictability, and consequently is also a lot more dangerous. And what the second indicator is that a vehicle does slow down or come to a stop, but then suddenly decides to shoot across the road, thinking that they can make it in time. So notice the vehicle on the far side here. So this driver thinks that he's quick enough to actually quickly shoot across the road. So because of that, doesn't really notice the vehicles on the far side approaching, and we have this collision. I just want to go back a section, because where you've got a driver that does this is really a selfish driver, somebody who doesn't consider others on the road. The driver of this vehicle had been waiting patiently. So now he comes along on the far side and actually blocks the view of this driver to any approaching traffic. And so now he's forced to have to wait, because his view or his visibility is blocked, for this driver to go first. And so we don't want to do that. Rather be patient on the road, kind, considerate to others, and others will appreciate it. If you don't receive that reciprocal behavior of others extending kindness towards you, that shouldn't affect your behavior and your temperament on the road. Know that it's not always easy when we've got these selfish drivers on the road. One just wants to retaliate, but it's not worth it. There is a page on the website that has a look at aggressive driving, and I'll put the link in the description of this video below, and go and have a look at that, and just have the right mindset when we're out on the roads. I know it's very difficult. It's something that's a major challenge to me as well, but really, if you think of the consequences, it's not worth it in the long run. So that's a second indicator that a driver is too impatient to wait behind the vehicle, comes alongside, and then quickly tries to shoot across the road, thinking that they're quick enough to do that. Second real-life clip is also a driver just quickly trying to shoot across the road. Now we've got this vehicle exiting from the side road, and this driver doesn't have, as in the previous clip, another vehicle alongside it. So the vehicle is on its own, has come to a stop, and has enough time after this vehicle has passed in order to cross over the road. But the driver actually waits till the last second before suddenly deciding in an erratic manner to shoot across the road. And that makes it dangerous. As mentioned in the previous clip, when a driver just suddenly shoots across the road, it's unpredictable. As we advance the video, you'll see from the camera's perspective, he would have thought quite rightly that the driver had seen him and is waiting for him to pass before shooting across the road. But that didn't turn out that way. Now, at this moment, the driver decides to quickly try and make a dash for it. And so we've got to be cautious. One could assume that because a vehicle had stopped on the side of the road, as we saw in this clip, that they had seen you, you're safe to proceed, but then something like this might occur. So always expect that drivers are going to do something. Never just assume that it's going to be safe to cross. Always plan ahead and think, well, if they do shoot across, what are you going to do? What's your plan of action? And that's really the purpose of this course. We're now looking at the third indicator, and this is easier to detect as you're driving along. Because what this third indicator is, now notice there's a vehicle on the left side. And what the third indicator is that a hasty driver is not patient enough to wait behind the vehicle ahead, will pull alongside it and then try to cross over the road into the path of the oncoming traffic. And so where you're driving along and you see that there's a vehicle that stopped on the side and another vehicle now, instead of waiting behind it, comes and pulls up alongside it, then know that there's a great chance that this vehicle is going to want to cross over the road. And that's why they haven't waited behind and have pulled up alongside. And normally they do so on the side of the vehicle that's closest to the approaching traffic because they want to see what's going on here. They don't worry about the patient driver that's been waiting on the side here, that they block their visibility. Now, once again, a selfish course of action, and they just go ahead. So same thing here. You see the driver, instead of waiting behind the vehicle in front of it, pulls up alongside in order to quickly try and make a dash across the road. So as you perhaps driving down a path such as this or a similar situation, as soon as you see a vehicle now pulling up alongside the vehicle in front of it, but on the near side to the oncoming traffic, then you know that the driver of this vehicle is going to want to try and quickly cross over the road.
please like, subscribe, and get notified.